there, this is Rhona-Mae Arca. I'm the creator of Maestro's Music Tricks, and I'm here with Lindsay Inkster of Piano Cat Music.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you. Lindsay's going to take us through, or I guess recreate for us that moment when she first opened Maestro's Music Tricks. Kind of walk through looking at it for the first time and share some of her first impression.
I received a Maestro's Music Tricks bag, and inside the bag there are several items. I have a lovely introduction and instruction booklet. I have a deck of cards.
A large deck of cards.
It's a large deck of cards. And I also have a package of different dice. And I also have some helpful website links that are part of the package as well.
So Lindsay, what was the first thing you did after you took everything out?
Well, the first thing I did was take a look at the instruction booklet. And I found that there were several helpful things inside the booklet. One of the best things that was great for quick reference was the questions to ask yourself. There are a series of 5 questions that ask things like, where am I stumbling? What is the problem, and how can I fix my trouble spot? Did that work? And if it didn't work, what other drills can I try? I thought that was a great way to get started with Maestro's Music Tricks, and then a good introduction into using some of the cards. The next thing I did was take a look at all of the cards. And I liked how the cards were arranged from beginner through novice, intermediate, and more advanced cards. With a studio like mine that has mostly young children, I think that the beginner cards will be especially useful. One thing that I liked with the starter deck is that it had a lot of suggestions that can work in combination with one another, or things that we can use on our own. So for example, there are some cards that I think that we can use for many different scenarios. I liked especially things like the looping drill, which is the card in the starter deck, number 7. I also liked the 5-speed drill, which is card from the starter deck, number 2. And I also thought that the record and review drill was very good, because that's something that we often do in my own studio practice, is take video and audio recordings. Most of my students are very young and they're new beginners. Many of them have only been taking lessons for a few weeks. And so they're only just starting to be introduced to some different practice strategies and ways that they can work on things in the pieces that they have going. So what I've been doing is very slowly introducing cards to my students, usually 1 card per lesson. One of the first ones that I actually started with was the looping drill, and that's what I've been working on introducing to my students. I especially like the looping drill because it helps students to zero in on the specific spot that they need to work on, and then learn how to practice something over and over and over again. I think a lot of students, when they're first starting out, don't even realize that they need to work on something over and over again, and even when they think they understand something, they probably don't quite have it integrated yet, and so they need to incorporate repetition. So I think this is a great way to do that. Another drill that goes really well with the looping drill that I've introduced to some of my students is the treats drill, which is from card number 10 of the starter deck. We've done it with little glass gems, where they move a little glass gem from one side to the other. We've done it with Smarties. And another way that I've tried that works quite well is we've done it with coloring sheets, where the student will color in a little section of their coloring sheet each time they successfully do a repetition. Another thing that I found really helpful is using the red card that says questions to ask yourself. With my beginner students, a lot of them don't even realize that they have a trouble spot. They just have a section that they stumble over and over again, and so for us to zero in on that spot is a skill that they have to learn. they have to learn how to go through the algorithm of identifying that spot and then trying to find the steps towards fixing it. So I've been showing all of my students the question to ask yourself card and teaching them to ask the different questions like, where am I stumbling? What is the problem? How can I fix my trouble spot? Did that work? And if it didn't work, what other drills can I try? Right now, I'm only introducing 1 card a lesson, maybe 2, and that right now is all they can absorb at that point. So I think for the time being, I'm going to stick with my teacher's deck and allow my students to learn from there. And then as they grow and advance and become familiar with more of the cards, at that point I'll suggest that they buy their own deck.